All right, we're going to try this one more time. Let me see how it works. I just restarted everything. I don't know what was going on with OBS. It was using way more CPU than it normally does, about twice as much. It was dropping approximately 50% of frames, and even though it had good speed as far as my internet connection, it was showing red. And you know what? It's doing it again right now. It's doing it again right now. I don't know what is causing that. Let's just hope for the best here. All right, so we'll get rid of this. We'll get rid of this, right? And then let's, all right, let's fade it into Truck Sim and see how we do. So if we go here, and then we go here, see how that works. Fingers crossed. Oh my goodness. Does it work? Maybe. Black screen. There it is. All right, let's see how well this holds together. So something I did notice, and God, I hope the game doesn't crash when I do this, but something that I did notice about ATS and OBS is when I go into the menus, it gets really stuttery. I don't know why it does that, but it does. So I got to go into the menu though, because I got to show you Colorado. And we're going to take this. We could take it up this way and go out into Utah, but instead we're going to go over this way, right? We're going to go through Durango. We're going to go through Montrose. I used to live in Grand Junction. I lived in Grand Junction, Fort Collins, and Denver. And when I lived in Grand Junction, I spent a lot of time down in this area in the San Juan Mountains and Ouray. And then, you know, I lived in Moab as well. So this part of the world, this is my favorite part of the world in the world. It really is. So this is going to be probably a very long stream, and we're going to see, hopefully, a lot of towns in Colorado. But we're in the Western Star. We've got a great big trailer on. We just picked up it's a small load. It's only about 22,000 pounds, but it's on a gigantic trailer. So why not, right? All right, here we go.
Time to get the job done.
Let's hop in here. Right, brake is off. And we need to swing way out. I drove this thing from, where'd we end up last episode? Provo. I drove this thing from Provo to here, and it was, what, God. Oh my goodness, I forgot to restart my, oh, and the game just crashed. Are you kidding me? Fried. I need some feedback, my friend. The game just crashed again. It has been doing that more or less like non-stop all afternoon as I've been trying to get this stream going. What are your thoughts? I really want to do this, but the fates seem to be conspiring against us. All right, so we're going to restart ATS. And let me take a look at. Yeah, other than that little burst a while ago, we haven't been dropping frames again. I don't know why it's continuing to crash the game. That's very odd. And I did restart. I don't know, man. All this technology stuff, I kind of. Yeah, you're not into technology? Yeah, I know what I know, and then that's all I know. All right, so restarted the game. Now, that did sort of work out in our favor because I was able to safe mode. If I did launch in safe mode, I don't know if anything would like work. So, all right, so we do have track IR now. So that may have worked out in our favor because I forgot to, when I restarted, totally forgot about track IR. All right, well, you know what? We're just going to go for it. If it crashes one more time, then we have to be done because something is obviously broken, problematic, but we're going to give it our best effort here. And when I drove this thing up here from Provo, it's very long. And AI traffic, I've noticed it is, I don't know, I think it's a little bit wonky. I don't think it's as good as it used to be, and I don't know what's different. but it seems to not work as well as it used to. All right, are we gonna make it out of there? God, this thing is long. Oh God. All right, and then we go straight here. If we just get over in the curb lane. Hey, what's happening? I asked you how to say your name, right? It's Rogel. The J is not silent. What's the opposite of silent? You know, the other one. All right. Everything seems to be doing okay. Man, I really hope this works out. I have been looking forward to streaming this. The cargo is a small backhoe on an enormous trailer. Does that even make sense? You can put that thing in the back of a pickup truck. I don't know what's going on there. All right, and we need to carefully slide over. There we go. All right. It seems to be working. For the moment, it seems to be working. Now, I don't know. I mean, we did just download a DLC, but we have very few mods running. And I have to say, both ETS and ATS have been just unbelievably stable for me the past 6 months or so. I don't know what's happening right there. All right, put some windows up. But it could be anything. It could be my system, could be OBS, could be Truck Sim. Who knows? Man, I just want to get to Colorado. All right, here we go. And it looks like we're going to make a left turn up here, so I'm going to go ahead and get in the left lane now.
Go straight on.
All right. We used to go down to Farmington to ride mountain bikes. And when I say ride mountain bikes, I was, like, I lived that life for years. I was so into mountain biking that I literally, like, moved to specific places. Like, I moved to Moab. I moved across country just to live in Moab, just so I could mountain bike. That's how into it I was. The way that people are into skiing or surfing or rock climbing or any of those things. You live in a place where you can do the things that you want to do all the time. And we used to go down to Farmington to mountain bike, and
Turn left.
heading up the road here from Gallup up toward what would, I guess, Durango, right? Up toward Mesa Verde. Yeah, it's really bringing back memories. I'm getting lost in my thoughts. Oh, no worries, Fried. You know, I watch during the day here when I'm working before I stream, because I get up typically around 5 or 6 a.m. And during the day when I'm working, I watch streamers from the UK stream Escape from Tarkov, of all things. And I just kind of leave it on. You know, I'm engaged. I'm a little bit lurking. But if people come and go, you know. Moab is, let me tell you about Moab. So Moab is famous for mountain biking, or it was years ago. It was famous for the Slick Rock Trail. Because other than one place in southern France, there is no other place in the world where you can ride your mountain bike on fossilized sand dunes, which is what the Slick Rock Trail is. And that the Slick Rock Trail, it's been sort of, I guess, taken over by mountain bikers, but it was originally built by trials riders, motorcycle riders. Carefully. So all around out in that area, the big Jeep Jamboree is held in Moab every year, the big one. And the trails out in that part of the world, Steel Bender comes to mind. The four-wheel drive and off-road trails are like nothing I've ever seen before. Oh my goodness, chat is so busy. Jaden, what is happening?
Keep right, and then turn right.
I'm trying to drive the truck and... What? What? No. We can't have a detour already. We can't. We have to we have to make our right turn here. Is this... Oh my goodness. All right, so if we... If we go back toward Gallup and up 191, then we can go across on the interstate and into Grand Junction, and then up from there. Kebble, what's happening? I like Fried's name because I can pronounce it. Is it Kebble? Keeble? So that was a long answer, but Moab is absolutely unbelievable for off-road motorcycles, mountain bikes, paddling. There's like class 5 whitewater all over the place. Big wall climbing. The Fisher Towers are up in Castle Valley. Wall Street, base jumping. Anything that you want to do, any adventure sport that you want to participate in is available in Moab, Utah. And I can't say that when I was there, Slick Rock was already sort of passé. Slick Rock was not, it's a novelty, but there was really, really good riding in Fruita, Colorado, which is right over the line. Fruita is about halfway between, maybe a little more than that, maybe 3/4 of the way from Moab to Grand Junction is Fruita. And I think the riding in Fruita ultimately became better than the riding in Moab, just for mountain bike anyway. I think we can make our turn here. So yeah, for mountain biking, before, well, I wouldn't say before. I mean, they probably developed in parallel. But BC and Whistler is where it's at for mountain biking right now. But for a while, for a time, Moab was about as good as it gets. Yeah, the off-roading in Moab it's like nothing. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. There are trails that are so they're so gnarly. And then, I mean, outside of Moab, when you get down to like down into Canyonlands, Elephant Hill is unbelievable. And then even like I used to ride my motorcycle, my enduro bike. I used to ride back and forth over the Imogene Pass and down into Telluride. I would ride down from Grand Junction, ride over the Imogene, and down into Telluride, have lunch and ride home. And the Imogene and like the Black Bear Road and Poughkeepsie Gulch, all those trails around that part of the world, they were designed for like mules 100+ years ago, and people are driving vehicles on them. So it's next level 4-wheel drive. When you see somebody with like $100,000 rock crawler, that's what they build it for. Jaden, what do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah, look up Steelbender. That's a good one. Moab Steelbender and Canyonlands Elephant Rock is a good one, and Black Bear Road. Exactly, Jaden. I don't know what you mean when you ask, what do you mean? I don't even know if you were asking me. What else? So when I lived in Grand Junction, I used to... No, you can't really mountain bike in any national parks. It is, I don't know, it's more about sort of preserving the landscape, and mountain bikes can be kind of rough. But the thing about Zion, Utah, it's so big, and there is so much public land that you may not be in the national park proper, but you're on public land where you can mountain bike, and it's just as good. Like the scenery and the view is just as good. All right, we are in Arizona, and I think we're going to make a turn here. Back to the north, we'll go up the 191. And let me see if there, can we cut off through here? Cortez and Four Corners? Yeah, let's go up this way. I'm not looking at the map. I sort of, it's been a couple years, but I sort of remember all these places. God, I drove around these places. The woman that I was dating, the girl that I was dating, when I lived in Moab, drove shuttle buses because so the way that the paddling works in Moab is you get put in, actually sometimes even in Colorado, and then you take out down at Lake Powell, right? So there's two ways you can do it. You can either have the shuttle service meet you where you put in and take your cars down to where you're going to take out, or you can park your cars at the takeout and have the shuttle service take you to the put in, right? And a lot of people prefer the latter because then if you are early or late, you don't need to worry about meeting anybody. So she would be driving this 14-passenger van with a gigantic trailer on it, right? Take the clients to the put-in, put their vehicle on the trailer behind the 14-passenger, and then drive it down to Lake Powell in the middle of the night sometimes. And yeah, she was burly with the leather gloves and the whole deal. But this whole area is, the best way I can describe it is, it's haunted AF. It is very spooky. It's very quiet. Oh, we're in Colorado. My goodness. It's very beautiful. It's very desolate. It's very spooky. It's just an amazing place. My favorite place in the world. Spread my ashes over Colorado. I love it. Couldn't love it more. And I hope to live there again someday. It's been a minute. But in the meantime, I've been all over the world, and maybe I'll make it back there. Maybe I'll make it back there for the final act, right? So what else? In Grand Junction. So there is ice climbing in Ouray, mountain biking in the summer, and then in the winter, skiing, of course, at T-Ride and Durango, which is not, Durango is still Durango, but I think Purgatory is like Ski Colorado now. Yeah, it's got a different, they changed the name. It's not Purgatory anymore. But the other thing is Ouray. And Ouray has an ice park, which is just a little canyon, right? Maybe, 80 to say 200 feet deep and fairly narrow. And every fall, people hang chains down the side of it, and then they turn on sprinklers, like actual sprinklers. And these gigantic icicles form on the chains. Let's be careful going through here. And then people like me climb them. So I used to spend all summer rock climbing and mountain biking and paddling, and then all winter skiing and ice climbing. And it was absolute paradise. It was paradise. I loved it, I tell you. This looks like Owl Creek Pass, but I don't know exactly where I am. Hang on, let me read the chat. If I can figure out a way to do it with OBS, what I'd like to do, either in the middle of the stream or maybe at the end of it, is show you a bunch of photos that I took. I used to be a photographer, and like a proper photographer, and show you a bunch of photos I've taken of this area. But where we are right now, I would say that this is, like, we just came out at Owl Creek, right near Ridgeway. Like, I recognize this intersection. And I don't know if we're going to be able to get over, hopefully, maybe. And what I'm seeing so far, everything looks absolutely spot on. Wow, this is really, really cool. And I'm glad that obviously they would need to do Denver, Colorado Springs, and probably Fort Collins. Those are, well, and I guess Boulder as well. Those are the big cities on I-25 in that corridor. But once you get into the foothills on the way toward the Rockies, it really, like, there aren't a whole lot of very big towns in the entire rest of the state. It really thins out considerably. And when you get onto the western slope, Grand Junction is the biggest city out there, but places like Aspen and T-Ride and Durango and Rangeley, where we're going, like 40, 50,000 people, and that's most of the state west of the Rockies. So it's interesting. I want to see like what cities they chose, and and try to sort of, I don't know, speculate, guess why they chose them. So we need to pull in and be Wade, and it looks like that is way back here, and we have this ridiculous trailer on.
Go straight on.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's hope for the best here. I do continue to believe that the devs, because we're not running any mod cargo, we have no mod trailers, and we have no mod map, obviously.
Let's find a new route.
I would think that the devs would set it up so that any trailer could fit through any part of the base game map, or DLC, but you know what I mean. Anything that SCS makes
Ready to turn left.
can work on anything that SCS makes. Left my blinker on. Did I?
Left.
I hope I didn't. All right, now you got me. Now you got me all second guessing myself. All right. Let's see if this all fits through here. I've got the auto cancel on, so hopefully I don't leave them on for too long. All right, I'm really glad this worked. I was just about to give up. I really was. All right, stop at the truck scale. Is this the scale right here? You know, this is a little bit of a artistic license right here, because I don't think they're going to be able to weigh this whole trailer on this scale. Oh, right on, Fried. So you have Idaho and Colorado now, or you said you got Idaho just so you could get Colorado? I think you told me in another stream, but I forgot already. All right, here we go. Oh, and if I didn't show you this so far, I did... What? Oh, you know what I did? I stopped, I was talking, and then I just pulled through without hitting the button. All right. We are in the Western Star, and then we have this absurd trailer on here. If I can swing the camera around. Think that's a big enough trailer for that little backhoe? All right. Oh, I'm all flustered. I do that periodically. I drove into a barricade at a toll booth the other day. I do that. All right. Trying to focus. So that was Grand Junction. Oh, and one of the reasons I moved to Grand Junction, living in Moab. Moab at the time was about 3,000 people. That's an awfully small town to live in. That's when you get your island fever, they call it.
Get ready to turn right.
And I figured I was spending enough time in Grand Junction anyway. You know what? Let's just move there. It's only an hour and a half down to Moab if I need to get there. But I'll have a few more, you know what I mean? I won't feel quite so trapped in a little tiny fishbowl of a town. So I used to either ride the enduro bike down the Cocopelli Trail, which is a trail like straight across the desert from Grand Junction to Moab. It's absolutely mental. I've done it in daylight. I've also done it at night, which is... Or I would ride the sport bike, and at the time I was on I had a Ducati S4R and a Daytona 675. I would ride that down the river road. Instead of taking the interstate to 191, I would just take the interstate to the river road. And I don't want to go to the map because I don't want to crash the game, but I don't know if they included that, but there's a road. There's a road that jumps off the interstate. Oh, probably 30 miles, 40 miles outside of Grand Junction to the west. And it cuts down into the Colorado River Canyon, which is, eventually it becomes the Grand Canyon. But in Colorado and that part of Utah, it's not grand yet. It's just very, very nice. All right. Durango. We're going this way. So yeah, the river road on a sport bike, and you can probably find a video for that too. But from the interstate down to Castle Valley, the river road is just, it's some of the best sport bike riding I've ever been on. It's like the Angeles Crest Highway above LA. It's just like a legendary road for riding sport bikes on. Oh my goodness, so many memories right now. right? There's a little town down here called Paonia. I don't know if there's any hippies in the house right now. Right? Anybody been to Burning Man? There's a little town called Paonia. And Paonia is where they made Chaco sandals before they went all corporate. But Paonia was famous for a strain of hybrid marijuana. It's legal in Colorado. It was famous for a strain of hybrid marijuana called the Paonia Paralyzer. And if you got a hold of a Flatlander, right? Because you meet somebody from like Detroit or like Wisconsin, and they're like, "Oh man, I smoked a ton of pot." You're gonna have to try pretty hard to impress me. And you haven't been high till you smoke Colorado pot. But you give them some of the Paralyzer, and I mean, it's called the Paralyzer. Why do you think they call it that? So yeah, it's get a Flatlander and feed them some of that, and see how it treats them. And what else? Cortez was where Osprey was out of Cortez, were they not? Yeah, I remember taking a backpack to Osprey just to see if they could fix it. Uh-oh. Held for review. You know, I'm not crazy. Hang on. Hang on, let me reach over here if I can do this. Not crazy. I just lived in the desert too long. The desert does things to you. Osprey, yeah, I took a bag to Osprey. Like, took it to their front door just to see if they could fix it. Oh, thought that was going to turn green. Just to see if they could fix it. And they were like, "Oh, hang on, let me go in the back and get you another one." And they just swapped it out for me. This thing had so many miles on it. It was all torn up and, well used. But yeah, Osprey will treat you right. Or at least they would back in the day. Some of these brands, man, I don't know. They started in these little towns, and they grow. I don't know if you bought a Timbuk2 bag lately. Being in the bike business, being in the bike industry for as long as I was, I can remember when Timbuk2, like, you could call them and they would just answer the phone. You could hear sewing machines in the background. They were like making bags in San Francisco, and now the majority of them are imported, and times change. It just progresses. But yeah, Colorado and the whole area, down into Arizona. I remember we used to drive down from Moab. We used to drive down into Arizona, and just right around Mexican Hat, we would just like drive out into the desert. And there was this great big mushroom rock, like as big as a football field, with this little lip all the way around it. And we would just post up under there and, spend a couple days in the desert trying to kind of clear your mind. That's the place to do it. It's like a little mini Burning Man we could have anytime we wanted.
Go straight on.
All right. And I'm guessing they're going to have Independence Pass represented up above Aspen. But we'll see. I probably picked way too big a trailer for this trip, but you know what? We're going with it anyway. Oh, and also, before I forget, how's the sound on the truck? Can you hear the truck at all, or can you just hear me? Because I was reviewing a video the other day, and you could barely hear the truck. And I'm feeling like these engines are really performing well lately. They have good sound to them. So let me know if you want me to bring the volume of the engine up a little bit so you can hear it better. And we should be going, I don't know if we're going to go over Red Mountain Pass or up through like Montrose and Delta. You can hear it? Okay, cool. Let me know if you want me to turn it up. Okay. So we are headed back into Utah, and this is, we're going to get on the 191 probably right around LaSalle Junction. I'm saying all this like you know these places. Yeah, well, if you're from Colorado, you do know these places, but we're going to get back on the 191 and go north, and we'll take that through Moab to the interstate, and then we'll go, I'm going to hop on the interstate, head toward Grand, and then we'll head up toward Rangeley from there. We'll head up into Rangeley on the Colorado side rather than the Utah side. Oh, this is crazy. I never thought I'd see this in a video game. When I lived here, this was well before gaming was on my radar. I was away from gaming for many, many years. Well, I was living in the desert, mountain biking and ice climbing and just generally being a goofball. Yeah, here's the 191. So I was away from gaming for a long time. But if you had told me there would be a video game where you would just drive trucks around the American West. All right, and I don't want to ram anybody. And then we'll cut it. Oh. Carefully. Carefully. All right, we got it. Beautiful. All right, so Monticello to Moab is 60 miles, 50 miles. So we'll be there in just a few minutes. And then from there to the interstate, it's just another few minutes. Oh, you know what? All right, this is perfect. Whoa, slow it down. This is perfect. When the Utah DLC was released, obviously there were no roads going to the east of it because Colorado hadn't been released yet. But the river road departs from where the Gandhi is on the north side of town in Moab. So if they did put the river road in, that's where we would make our turn. And you know what? They might, because Castle Valley is beautiful. The Fisher Towers are up there, right? You saw Mission Impossible, right? Second one, third one? I don't know. It's one of the Mission Impossible movies. At the beginning, he's climbing on a red sandstone tower. Those are the Fisher Towers in Castle Valley. And it's pretty scenic. It's, I mean, it's not Monument Valley, but it's significant. So I'm curious if we can go up the river road. I don't really want to take this truck up the river road, but you know what? It's too late. It's too late. If that turn is available, if we can make that turn, we'll take it. What else? Oh, you know what? I ran out of gas on the Cocopelli Trail on my enduro bike. I had a 5-gallon tank. I didn't fill it because I didn't need 5 gallons to go 140 miles on a dirt bike. And I should have. And there's a little, it's a convenience store, like out in the middle of nowhere, out in the desert. And they will sell you gas there. But I paid $25 for a gallon of gas. It's not a gas station. All right, Keble, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. See you next time. It was my own fault, but when you buy gas at a place that is not a gas station, expect to get taxed. They are going to charge you for it, and they did. And they'll sell you a Gatorade for like $8. You hot? You thirsty? Out in the desert? Here, I got your Gatorade. You know the river road? It's something else, man. I remember the first time I rode a sport bike down that road. I rode from Grand to Moab. Carefully. I rode from Grand to Moab on a Friday afternoon. And then Sunday afternoon, I rode back. And I could see these big black rainbows that I had left accelerating out of like every turn on the way down. I tend to get a little frisky. When I'm on a sport bike. You know, I don't know. Here's Moab. Moab, they call it. I don't know. I don't know if I would ride that way these days. I mean, I guess you grow out of everything. And I never put a sport bike down. I never wrecked a sport bike. But I just don't know if I would ride the way I used to. Oh, you know what? I see. I can see a right up here. I can see a right turn. That would be fantastic. I went to a rave in Castle Valley. That was a very interesting evening. Hang on. I want to look at the map here. Because if it's not here, this looks like it goes back down Spanish Valley. Yeah. Yeah, that's just back towards some businesses. We'll have to go all the way up to the interstate. It's not far. So no river road. All right. Maybe they'll put it in later. They added some roads to. They added some roads around Yosemite, and I think some stuff down around San Diego. So they may add that later. All right. That's a little disappointing, but you know what? It's a good day, and I'm not gonna let that get me down. Really trying not to either hook this trailer or hit any cars on the side here. All right, with minutes. Really? All right. So it'll be like that. So we're going to go past Arches here on the way out of town. It'll be on our right, Arches National Park. And there is a historic site just outside of Arches called the Phantom Ranch. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's not the Phantom Ranch. Phantom Ranch is in the Grand Canyon. Oh, what is it? Somebody Google it for me quick. There's a settlement near Arches. It was a ranch, a farm that this family put together in like the 1800s. And there's photos of them. And they're wearing like wool. They're out in the desert. That's the river road right there, by the way. We would have needed to make that right and follow the Colorado River up to the interstate that way. But there's photos of this family in this little farm in the desert. And I cannot for the life of me figure out why anybody would do that 100 years before air conditioning. I just don't get it. I can't imagine the fortitude that you would need to make a choice like that, to try to make a living, to like improve your fortunes, but to do it by trying to farm a desert. That's just astounding. I mean, Moab is a pretty rough place to this day. When I was there, probably 1 or 2 people per year would be killed either by heat or they would fall off Poison Spider Mesa. And I laugh when I say that because the Portal Descent, Wolf Ranch, yes. I mean, if it's the one just outside of Arches from like the 1870s, 1880s, yeah, that sounds about right. The Portal Descent on the Poison Spider Trail it's terrifying, and it's so steep and so broken that it's actually easier to ride your mountain bike down it than it is to walk down it. And it's like a 400-foot exposed fall straight down to the road. And people fall off it. I mean, and it's little stuff too. Oh, carefully. It's little stuff too. It's, you stand by. We just hit something. All right. All right, we got a little invisible something here. Check the map to see how close. I certainly can. Let me get off the road here. I don't know what we just hit. but I'm going to go ahead and file a bug report. All right, the map, yes. So we are right here. The river road, if it existed, would go right up here. Grand is right here, and we are going up to Rangeley. So we're going to go up here and make the turn. All right. Here we go. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of shitty that people go on vacation, you know, go mountain biking, go climbing, and end up dead. But I guess my point would be Moab is no joke, like in this era, with medical helicopters and electrolyte drinks and GPS and everything else. I can't imagine how terrifying it would be to be out in the desert in the 1800s. That would, you know what I mean? You're like one appendicitis away from stepping off this mortal coil. That's rough. I used to go down to Mike's Sky Ranch in Baja. I used to ride my enduro bike from LA down to Mike's, and that was when they would turn off the generator at 10 p.m. and it would just get dark. You know, you're out in the desert and you've got electricity and you've got, you know, the lights are on and everything, but it was not, Mike's was not, nobody was doing that to get rich. That was just a place for people that wanted to play in the desert, a place for them to spend the night. It was like a hotel, hostel, whatever. But they weren't getting rich, and they're not going to leave the Jenny on all night burning fuel. So 10 o'clock, go to bed. And, you know, people had headlamps, light a candle, enjoy your gin and tonic by the fire. It's not like they turned the Jenny off and it just closed the place down. But it got dark. You know, the desert at night it's dark in a way that, I don't know, it's a different kind of darkness. First time I ever saw the Milky Way was in Colorado, and we were up in Rocky Mountain National Park. I had just moved to Fort Collins, met some people, and they said, you got to see Rocky Mountain National Park. So we drove up to Loveland and turned and drove up the Big Thompson and ended up at a kind of a primitive backcountry campground up above 10,000 feet, and just the quality of light in that part of the world. I mean, Rocky Mountain National Park's not the desert, but it's all high plains. It's the foothills, and it's difficult to describe it. All right, did we get another detour here? No, there's no exit. And to see the Milky Way like that, the signs of the zodiac never made sense to me, I have to say. Until I lived in that part of the world, it never made sense to me, because it's like, oh, this is the scorpion, this is the crab, this is the bull, and it's like, what are you talking about, man? It's like 4 dots. It doesn't make any sense. But when you see the sky without clouds, and when you see it without city lights, the amount of stars that you can see, and just the way the Milky Way is, I mean, it's the Milky Way. It's like a smudge of light across the sky. So we do exit here? We do exit here. Okay. It's bizarre to see it like that. But that's when the zodiac made sense, because then it's like, oh yeah, okay, I do see a bull. Whereas when you're looking at it from Chicago, you know what I mean? You're not seeing anything. And it said bypass, so we're going right through. We got dinged last time, but I think we're okay. I did see the Northern Lights. I saw the Northern Lights in Reykjavik, sitting in a natural hot spring, drinking Icelandic vodka while snow fell. And it was something else, man.
Turn left.
If you don't travel, or if you haven't traveled yet, I cannot recommend it strongly enough. It's an enormous planet. And it doesn't matter how hard you try or how many places you go, you'll never see all of it in one lifetime. But try anyway. I haven't seen it all. I haven't seen, I've only been to, well, technically I've been to Africa. I was in Morocco, but I need to see sub-Saharan Africa. I haven't spent a lot of time in South America. I need to go there. And I haven't been to Australia yet. I haven't been to the South Pacific. There's so many places I still need to get to. And it's, I'm not old, but I feel time creeping up on me because it's you would need to travel just constantly to see all the parts of the world that you want to see. And I guess one of the problems is there are places in the world that you go that are amazing and you don't want to leave. So rather than going on to the next place that you need to see, you know what I'm saying? You post up. And now you spend a year or two in one place instead of traveling. So I'll never see it all, but I have had a fantastic time trying my best to see the whole world. It's amazing. It's an amazing place. We're lucky to have it. Yeah, it's really humbling. When I was up at that campsite, up in Rocky Mountain National Park, I was overwhelmed by what I was seeing. Vienna, and you know what? Prague is another city that really did it for me. Prague, I want I want to live in Prague. Prague is absolutely amazing. It reminds me of Amsterdam, but it's got a similar vibe, but it's a whole different place. Yeah, I love cities like that. Old cities that have just enough modern. They've got just enough. I don't want to call it a compromise, but they've got just enough of a scene, I guess, where it doesn't feel like a tourist town, and you don't feel like you're intruding on people that have lived there for 400 years. You know, like I would move to Amsterdam and not feel like an unwelcome guest. But if I move to a place like Chamonix or Innsbruck, I sort of would, So what was I reminiscing about? Being up in Rocky Mountain National Park and seeing the sky and just being overwhelmed by it. And there was no mushrooms. I wasn't tripping or anything, but it had a similar feel. And one of the people that I was there with, they had a kid. It was maybe 6 or 7 years old, and they came over and they said, "What are you looking at?" And I couldn't even answer them because I realized that what I was looking at was time, right? I was looking at the light from stars and galaxies that was tens of millions of years old. I was looking through time. And, right? Yeah, that'll make you want to sit down and have a think. All right. I need to gather myself right now. I was just thinking I should probably slide over a little bit because I'm going to hook the trailer and hit one of these cars, and sure enough I did. All right. I don't like doing that in a stream. Try to be better than that. Have I been to Montreal? Briefly. But I wasn't there long enough to see enough of the town to really say that I've been to Montreal. It was just sort of passing through. Well done, by the way. The way that this is executed is really, really well done. It makes me wish that there were seasons. But I have a feeling that as we get a little bit closer to the Rockies, that it's going to temporarily be winter. I have a feeling. Also, we need to sleep. Are we still, did the stream die?
Go straight on.
Are we still streaming? I hope we are. Yeah, we are. Whew. The preview went away, and I thought I thought we were a deader. Oh, there's the sunset. You know what? I can almost smell it. Colorado has a smell. It smells like pine trees and this dry sort of pumice smell, almost like a clay smell. It sounds weird to say that, but it is associated with some of the best times in my life. And as soon as I get into these piney mountains, as soon as I smell that, it just, oh, takes me back. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there are places you can go. I'm trying to. There's some little towns that I've been to in Italy, where it's just touristy. You know, it's obviously uh, preserved. How do I want to say this? Buffered for a second. Oh, OBS, keep it together for me. Uh, Venice is like that. Venice feels like a museum. I don't feel like I would be welcome to live in Venice. And it's so dense and it's so crowded. It really does feel like you're just spending the day in a really really big museum. But you're not going to move into a museum. You're not going to live in a museum. So places like that, they're awesome to visit. Although I do feel bad when I go to a place like Venice, because I know a lot of people are sort of over the tourist thing. Like, again, residents that have lived there for generations, they're over it. The money's nice, but if you got family money, you're not selling people postcards. You're not really worried about getting those tourist dollars. So I feel bad going to a place like Venice, because I know people that live there would rather I not go there. But when I go to a place like Prague, it's split up. There is an old city, and you can go visit, and then you leave, and you go to a newer part of town, and you go to the club, and you stay at a hotel, right? And that transaction to me feels a lot more comfortable. When you're spending your tourist dollars there, you're spending them with people that you're not disturbing anybody, and those people are happy to take your money. And so it's a nice blend.
Go straight on.
I really do need to be more careful on these turns to the left. But we are in Rangeley, which means we're going to get this thing delivered. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to
Get ready to turn left.
let's buy a garage. Oh, you know what? We don't have to. We don't have to. We can just go to the diesel shop in Rangeley. I hope there is one. We can go to the diesel shop and make this trailer a little smaller, because I've hit some things and it's just, I don't know. I want it to be a good stream. And I don't like hitting things. I don't like getting tickets. All right, here we go. All right, and while we're here, I think I own a garage in every city on the map, so I think we'll just go ahead and buy one while we're here. Why not, right? All right, so we can put some windows down. There we go. And obviously we'll have to sleep here too. We could sleep at the diesel shop if there is one here. And we're running out of fuel. We got problems here. What we can do? How low are we on fuel? We're pretty low. If there's no fuel here, what we'll do is we'll buy a garage, because we're loaded. We'll buy a garage and then we'll expand it, and that will install the fuel pumps, and we can fill up there. Okay.
Go straight on.
Range Rover for sale, if anybody's in the market for one.
Get ready to turn left.
Yeah, see, you get it. Go left. Go left
Turn
where?
left.
What? All right. I guess we're going up this dirt road. Interesting. And I guess that would be if you were to like swing things 100% the other way. I was mentioning Venice, where you don't, or at least I really don't feel welcome as a tourist. Even though I try not to be like that kind of tourist, I try to be low key. But you go to other places and it's 100% tourist, right? Like you can feel that's really the only use they have for you. Just come in and give us all your money. And it doesn't feel warm, it doesn't feel authentic. Disneyland, like you said. So I want that place with well, I can't say both, but sounds like we were talking about where there is history and a scene. A little bit of a scene. Alright, so we'll swing this out here to the right as far as we can. Man, I don't know what we bumped into going up that ramp. Some kind of invisible collision. These things. When you're on the interstate in Colorado driving back and forth, Montana as well, you see these drill pads everywhere. They are drilling for natural gas all over the West. And then when they're done, after they take the drill assembly off, when it just has the pump, they paint them exactly the same color as the surrounding desert. All right, down to neutral. Set the brake, lights off, engine off. Here we go. See how we did. Late. All right, just late. We damaged the trailer, but not the cargo. So we're okay. And we got 1,000 XP, give or take, and 20 grand. Okay, I'll take it. Now, let's go to Garage Manager and Map View and Purchase Garage. Not in Rangeley. Ooh, this is problematic. We can go to Steamboat. But we need to sleep. So, all right. So if we go to the map, if there's no diesel shop in Rangeley, and I don't think there is, there's one here, Vernal. And is there a garage in Vernal? I don't think there. Oh yeah, there is right there. All right, let's do it. Let's go to Vernal. Is there even a place to sleep in Rangeley? There literally is not. There's a fuel stop here. I don't even know if we can make it. How far is that? 16 miles. Yeah, we can make it. And then how far is, we want to go here, 41 miles. It's going to be really, really tight on the sleep, but we don't have a choice. Oh, right on. Right on. Yeah, those can be really fun trips. What's the one in Italy?
Okay.
The loop that people ride. It's like Lake Como. It's not just sport bikes. It's all motorcycles, but there's a loop that people ride in Italy that's like that. And I think there's one in Scandinavia where it's just an endlessly twisty road with amazing scenery. Perfect for any kind of motorcycle, but really good for a sport bike. All right, we're going to risk it. I am very, very concerned. You know what? I'm so concerned, I don't even want to stop and get fuel. Let's just try to get to Vernal. I think we've got 16, 41, 50. Yeah, I think we've got 50 gallons of fuel in the tank. God, I hope we do. But you know what? If we don't and we have to recover, it's going to recover us to Vernal anyway. This is really dicey, but we're going to do it. I mean, we have to. We've got no choice. The other thing we could do is just recover right now, but I don't like to do that. What kind of bike were you riding? And is it Big G? Big B. Big B. Okay. What kind of bike were you riding, Big B? We might just make this. We might. If these towns are close enough together. Ooh. If these towns are close enough together that it doesn't compress time, we might make it. All right, here we go. We haven't got a no sleep fine yet. And I don't think we've really dozed off yet. Oh, this is iffy. I don't know. I'm feeling really concerned. How far did you roll? That was a little early. Let's get down here a little further. How far did you roll? Because I feel like with the compression, the 15 to 1, when you're outside of a city, I feel like you can roll like 70, 80 miles.
Then turn left. Turn left.
We're going to risk the fuel here. We're not stopping. Yeah, Lake Como is that next level money. That's the level beyond the level. You know what I mean? That's like that. It's not even CEO money. That's like Clooney money. I'd need to make some Clooney money if I wanted to live on Lake Como. It is gorgeous though. I feel like there's a level of wealth that people get to where more people have that level of wealth. Whoa. More people have that level of wealth than. Find a better gear. There we go. All right. I think, oddly enough, I think we're going to make it. Oh, you know what? Here's fuel and sleep right here. But we're just about in Vernal. Yeah, there's Vernal right there. I'm going to press on. I'm going to press on. Yep. I know. I got my main beams on. People are blinking me. Somehow that worked out. All right. So we'll make this right. Pull into the diesel shop here. I think this is a dealer as well. It's got the question mark on it. We're going to pull into the diesel shop. We're going to sleep first thing, and then we're going to swap this trailer out.
Here we are, safe and sound.
Because it's just a little too big. Carefully. Service, that's us. Service and sleep. But you know what? I think. How do we want to do this? I mean, if your handle is Big B, I'm guessing that had to be a leader bike. I, I, I can't picture somebody named Big B riding a 600. All right, so we could do this, or we could do this. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's do this. That's a little more, you know what I mean? All right. So we'll do that, and we'll do this. Get everything fixed. All right. And now, I think we're going to have to... Oh, it flipped us around. So where do we sleep? Right there. I think if we just back straight up... you know what? No, it's not. It's not going to give it to us. I will back up. And I also just saw... Oh, it was a 600. Interesting. Okay. I just saw... We need to... On the way out of here... We need to swap out those rims on that trailer. One, I switched everything over. One set is the wrong color now. Okay, so we're going to drop this trailer, pull forward, Have I played SnowRunner? I have played SnowRunner, and I have streamed SnowRunner. That game is, if if Tarkov is the most frustrating game I know of, SnowRunner is the second most frustrating, and they're both in Russia. Coincidence? All right, here we go. So, parking lights on, engine is off, windows are down. Windows are down. Here we go. All right. Oh, and you know what? We drove a little bit at night, but not too far. So we'll get to see a little bit more scenery here. So we're going to hook back up here. Yeah. Yeah, Lake Como money is when you have when you have somebody to build your game room for you. Like, I don't even have enough money to build my gaming cave, but I definitely don't have enough money to tell somebody my specs and say I'll be back in 3 months. And what? There we go. I'll be back in 3 months and I expect this gaming cave to be done. Yeah, I'll stream it again. There's a DLC due not too very long from now, I don't think. Wisconsin, maybe? The Yukon? All right, let's get these wheels fixed. So if we go here, let me see what we got here. This is the Seagull. All right. So we'll make this the Seagull. It's an odd name for a wheel set. Is that something that exists in the real world of trucking? All right, and we want of course, our loose wheel indicators, like so. All right. Feeling better about that. I'm gonna go here and turn these on. Now, we need to get fuel, and we need to get a job. Let's haul something. So if we go to the job market, right, and we are in Vernal, and we want to go somewhere in Colorado. Anywhere, really. Fort Collins. Beautiful. 55,000 pounds. All right, let's do it. So.
Time to hit the road.
So we'll hop in here, and that is right across the road. Where is... Hang on, let's look back at the map. Where's our place? Right here. So before we do this... Oh, there's fuel on the way out of town. All right. Oh, I'm an idiot. So we're going to risk it again. There we go. We're going to risk it again. Got that name on the AT. Appalachian Trail? Are you a thru hiker?
Keep left and then turn left. Turn left. Get ready to turn left.
All right, so we're going to make this left here. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better about this trailer. That last one was just, you know what I mean? Oh. All right. Sir. It's a little bit spicy on the map today. You know what I'm saying? Things are feeling a little bit, it's like there's a tension. All right, so we're good over there. These people suddenly all just decided to be nice all at once. Very considerate of them. Thank you. Here we go. Then we'll turn down here.
Keep right and then turn right. Turn right. ready to turn left.
Turn left. Turn
Then
left
turn left.
here. Okay. And then in there
Turn left.
as well. Okay. Trailer's okay. Didn't hook anything. Yep. This was probably the smart play. And then could we get out right there? Can we exit right there?
Finally, we are here.
Finally, listen to this guy. Bruh. We just started. All right. Cargo market. A 55,000 pound crawler tractor to Fort Collins. You got it. All right. And this is going to be an easy pickup. There we go. Down to neutral. Windows down. Set the brake. Let's get loaded up. And I guess I sort of like that this flips you around. Right? You're all set to exit. Can we? I don't think we can make that turn. I think if we had a smaller trailer on, we probably could. But with this trailer, I don't see us making a 180-degree turn. You know what? Let's try it anyway. We'll go third person. Give it a try anyway. Yeah, we can do this. I say that.
Keep right and then turn right.
Oh, of course. Traffic. All right. So there's fuel on the way to where are we going next? I know we're going to Fort Collins. What's the next town we go through? Oh, hell yeah. Man, I've always wanted to do a through hike. Yep. Man, I lived in Mammoth, and that section of the PCT with the John Muir over top of it that goes into Yosemite. We had so many through hikers come through, and I was so envious. I was so happy for them, but I was so envious. And then in Colorado, the Continental Divide Trail, it's on my list. I really, really need to do that. And I know we could have got fuel there, but there's another place a little bit further down. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. Did you do it on your first try, or did you have to do segments first and then knock it out all at once? Or did you do it all at once, or did you do it in pieces? I mean, it's still a through hike. I'm not like throwing shade or anything. It's not like that. All right. Oh, and you know what? We can get rid of this too. This is sort of behind my microphone. Interesting. Okay. So you did it the other way. What made you want to go north to south instead of south to north? And we absolutely have to get fuel here, because we are just about completely empty. I think one tank will give us enough to get to Fort Collins, because we were kind of dicking around on the way up here from Farmington, we got detoured, and then we, I don't know, general shenanigans. All right, and I think we can, that is, and this is as well. Okay, but now we got traffic, so we'll wait for them to pass.
Never mind. I'll find a new route.
A little bit more momentum than I wanted. Oh. Yeah, I bet it was. I'm being quiet now because I'm really trying to focus on getting this thing in here straight so that we can leave, hopefully in one piece. Okay, windows down. Get down to neutral. Set the brake. Engine off. Here we go. Yeah, that is everybody that I know that has done a through hike, whether it's the CDT or the PCT or the Appalachian Trail or whatever it is. Everybody that I know that's done it, even people that were like way spiritual and, you know, all right, kind of people that go to Burning Man. Even people that were really dialed, it still grew them like unbelievable amounts. It's just such a life-changing event for everybody that I know that's ever done it. And I also know people that, you know, something really bad happened, like really, really bad. I'm not going to be specific, but I know a couple people, because you meet people like that when you live in places like Mammoth or Moab. You meet people that are not necessarily running from something, but they're sometimes starting over, you know? Just going to start over. Whatever happened before, I just need to forget about it. I need to get it out of my head. And so they reinvent themselves, and they do that in places like that. But I know people that something really, really terrible has happened to them, and they just needed to be alone for a while. And a through hike is a great excuse. It's a great venue to do that. And it's something that people around you can sort of understand. It's something they may not be intimately familiar with it, but they at least get the concept of it. And so, you know, if you were to tell somebody, I just want to go be by myself for 5 months, they're going to worry about you. But if you say, I'm going to do a through hike, okay, well, they're still going to worry about you, but at least it's a venue. You know, there's a format for your solitude. And I know people that have gotten through some really, really bad events. They've decided to do a through hike for their recovery. So, yeah, good on you, man. That is on my list. The thing that's really trippy about the Continental Divide and the Pacific Crest is so much of it is at altitude. And just how different it is to be hauling 30 or 40 pounds at 9,000 feet versus 400 feet. Although I'm fortunate, I have always done really, really well at altitude, both living at altitude and being above about 8,000 feet. That's my sweet spot. Yeah, that's what it does to your body. It's a little bit like, I don't know, it's sort of like life. It just takes a toll, whether you want it to or not. And the only way to not have it take a toll is to not do anything. But yeah, if you're going to do a through hike, it's going to mess you up. And I know, like you said, you lost 60 pounds. I mean, it's good in a lot of ways. I'm not disputing that, but it beats you up. Yeah, I've heard that. I mean, south to north is what most people do, because you can really try to stay in that like 65, 70 degree temperature, get out of the south by May, and you're going to avoid the hot weather, and you'll still have enough sort of residual autumn left over that you won't be in a Maine winter when you're finishing. But that's the time. That's the time when everybody else is doing it too.
Go straight on.
I know through hikers, they said their first 2 weeks, their first 2 weeks on the trail, they were seeing the same people constantly, and then you start seeing less and less of them, and less of them. And that's just, that refining process. I would say, so far, Idaho and Colorado are the two most accurate, like visually accurate DLC that I've seen so far for ATS. I'm curious if people feel the same way about the ETS side. I'm curious if there are people from a specific part of Europe that see an ETS DLC and they're like, yeah, no, nope, not even close. Lived there my whole life. Not even close. Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, I got into mountaineering. Well, my dad was a mountaineer, and we did a lot of hiking and a lot of camping and some rock climbing, but he didn't take me with him on mountaineering trips. I got into mountaineering when I was an adult, or when I was in my late teens, early 20s. I got into mountaineering, and
Go straight on.
the number of times that I've almost died in the mountains is, it's a very strange way to enjoy yourself. To go to places that physically don't want you there, and sort of try to survive them. You hear this classic, like the classic phrase is, with the last of our strength, we gained the summit. And it's like, well, then you planned your trip really, really poorly, because you still need to descend. And the weather's going to be changing depending on what mountains you're in. Noon is when the thunderstorms come in, or if you're high enough, when the snow comes, right? And if you've really waited too long, you're going to be descending at night. So even hiking at night is, it's not good. But doing a technical descent, doing a vertical descent at night it's really not good. So you go to these places that they're very foreign to humans. Being vertical, right? Being on a big wall. You're just not supposed to be there. People aren't built for that. And then things go wrong. Things inevitably go wrong. It's just, it's entropy. Any system, when it becomes complex enough, it becomes unstable. And you've got 2 or 3 people working in a vertical reality. You drop things. Somebody forgot something. You just, people are imperfect. And then you have to survive that. And it's been everything from a minor inconvenience to like, wow, me and my team, me and my party, we're going to die. we're going to die, like this afternoon. And we used to read accident reports when we were driving on a trip. When we were driving somewhere, we would read accident reports as ways to learn, like, what not to do and things to avoid. And so you're on a mountain and you're thinking to yourself, wow, a year from now, some team is going to be reading about us getting killed and pointing out all the mistakes that we made, all the things that we did wrong, and that's why we're dead. And then you survive it. And then a month later, you go do it again. And that's putting yourself in places where you have to figure things out, where you have to be your best, where you have to deal with that adversity, and particularly where you have to deal with it alone. It just grows you. We don't have to do that anymore with the technology that we have, with all the ways that society has grown around us. you're never alone. You know, you're a 911 call away from some kind of help.
Right.
And when you put yourself in a place where the only thing you can rely on is yourself and your gear, and sometimes not even your gear, if you drop your bag. What did I hit? Ah, this is so frustrating with these trailers. I thought I was out far enough. All right, so it goes. Hang on, I got to read something in the chat. Maine wasn't bad for winter. Okay, so you know the cold. And we were coming down off Mount Washington, and Mount Washington is one of those. It's 7,000 feet. Mount Washington. Oh, that's When I lived in Mammoth, I lived at 7,000 feet. That's nothing. And we got hit by a storm coming down, trying to come down and out through the Great Gulf Wilderness, and I literally thought we were all going to freeze to death. My buddy was starting to hallucinate and saying he was just going to take a nap and we should come back and get him, and we're slapping him and telling him he's hypothermic. And yeah, it's weather is something else, man. Fried, I just saw you up there. Yeah, it's. I think as SCS continues to grow, and as they continue to get better and better at what they do, I think these DLC are just going to get better and better to the point where I'm already noticing a difference in new DLC versus older DLC, and it's not the worst thing, but it does. It is. I don't know. Frustrating is probably too strong a word, but I do wish there was a way they could go back and retune some of those early DLC and bring them up to the standards of the later DLC. Big B, you need to check out a book called Bone Games by Rob Schultes. And it's about extreme sport and shamanism and the intersectionality of those two, and how for however long you believe people have been around, somewhere between 250,000 and 6,000 years, depending on your personal belief system. But however long people have been around, minus the last couple hundred years, they have been doing what we would call extreme sport as a form of vision quest and personal and spiritual expansion. So he talks a lot about sort of an anthropological take on extreme sport, but it's a fantastic book. It's not very long, but it's called Bone Games, and I would definitely recommend it. Yeah, Fried, I'm 100% on the fence. I want to see what this game would look like with 2020 or 2021 technology and rendering. But I worry if they did that, they would end up going down the same road as Dovetail has with the Train Simulator franchise, where they've alienated a lot of people. And I'm kind of down on Dovetail. They're not really my favorite company, but I respect that they keep the original Train Simulator franchise tuned up. They freshen it up every year. It doesn't look great. I would say it doesn't even look as good as this sim that we're in right now, even though it is in some ways more recent. But they keep that sim tuned up, and I think the reason they do that is because there is $3,000 of DLC floating around out there. And I don't know if anybody owns all of it, but I know people own a lot of it. So I think SCS seems like the kind of company that even if they did release ATS 2, they would somehow maintain this game in a way that allowed people who had invested in it to continue playing it. Or if your system can only play the original ATS, right? They release some new ATS 2 and it's right? You got to have a 3080 or something. I don't think they would do that to their audience. I saw the tag on the DLC. It's still got the indie tag on it. And I think a studio with 100 employees with one of the highest rated games on Steam still considers themselves to be an indie studio. Good for them. You know, so I don't think they would ever blow their fans up like that. Their fan base is too loyal, and I think the way that the fans and the devs connect, that's too strong. I don't think they would ever. Nah. I think they'll always take care of their audience. I hope they do. At the same time, I would like to see a new truck sim on both sides, ETS and ATS. But I don't think they have the resources at the moment to develop a new game while they're continuing to develop DLC. Because they may not be talking about it, but I mean, we know at the moment they're still working on Iberia, but they're also working on Greece, right? Or Texas or Wyoming or whatever. They've got those all in the pipeline. Because it takes a long time to put those together. I mean, even just going out to the location and doing all the photography and recording all the sounds and all that stuff. It's just called Train Simulator. It's by Dovetail. It's just called Train Simulator followed by the year. So currently it is Train Simulator 2021. And there is, yeah, take a look at the DLC for Train Simulator 2021. There are hundreds of them. And they are anywhere from 10 to, I want to say about $40, $50. I don't think anybody has all of it because it's really, really specific. And some people are into Steam, some people are into American freight trains, some people are into like Swiss mountain railroads. So maybe any given person has like $500 of it, $600 of it, but that's a lot, you know, to be told. That's a lot to invest in a game and just be told, well, it's abandonware now. We're not going to support it anymore, but thanks for all the money.
Go straight on.
And eventually all games become abandonware, but I think spending 50 or 80 or 100 on a game is different than spending 600. Hey, no worries, Big B. 604 DLC. Yeah, I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time downtown in LA. I was in South Bay, but I was told, and from what I've seen of it, you can learn to get around LA by playing GTA 5. It's that accurate. This is, if I wanted to convey to somebody in a video game what Colorado looks like, I would say this would be the way to do it. More so than Flight Simulator, because Flight Simulator, you're sort of flying over it, and you get a feeling for the terrain and the look and feel of it, but you don't see like the gas stations and the rest stops, you know, and the intersections and just all the smaller details. Going through some of these passes, I don't know if well, in the same way that they probably didn't put the River Road in because it's too small, I'm thinking they probably didn't put Trail Ridge Road in as well. If they did put Trail Ridge in, that's like I was saying when we first started streaming, is that to me would be a place where the game could have a temporary winter, you know? I mean, we don't get winter going over the Alps. And when we get Iberia, I don't know if we'll get winter going over the Pyrenees. But so much of Colorado is about the mountains and snow. I'm curious. So if we do have Trail Ridge Road, that would be, well, that'd be amazing. But I think we're just going to get like Eisenhower Pass and Independence Pass. Those are the bigger ones. But we'll take a look on the map. Mostly I'm just driving and enjoying myself. Got your little chain up area right about here. And you know what? I just realized in all the previews for this, I haven't really seen any snow areas. So I think it is perpetually summer in Truck Simulator in all of the places. But it's not the end of the world. Hang on, let's get off the ripple strip here. That's why we keep hooking the trailer. I'm not swinging it out wide enough. I prefer Train Sim World for the graphics. I find the graphics to be more immersive, but I'm not enough, or I wasn't enough of a rail fan to care about some of the other stuff. Train Simulator has better functionality, and you can be a lot more specific about the areas where you want to drive your train, because it does have all that DLC. It doesn't look as good, but I think the best analogy would be Flight Simulator and X-Plane. I got Flight Simulator. I played it. I think I put about 100 hours into it. I'm probably going to uninstall it because it's buggy and it's missing so many things. It's not immersive. As good as it looks, it's not immersive. So I've been back in X-Plane in the Zebo mod, and I'm finding that to be unbelievably immersive because it does have all those details. So if you want the detailed functionality and the accurate functionality of the trains, I would say go with the Train Simulator franchise. If you want better look and feel, I guess, then go with Train Sim World 2. A lot less DLC, and the trains are missing some things, but it looks better. It looks newer. I'm thinking about getting the Train Simulator franchise just to get the Arosa line, but then I saw a rumor that it's going to be coming on Train Sim World 2. The Arosa line it's very odd. It's a Swiss mountain railroad, but it starts like in town as a tram in the streets, and then just gradually goes like switchbacks up the side of a mountain up to what's the name of the town at the top? It's like a famous Swiss mountain ski town, but I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. And so we are just south of the Wyoming line. Yeah, TSW 2020, or I thought 2021 was out, but yeah, that's the one. It's just the one that has the year after it. And let me see, what memories can I share with you about this part of the state? Well, I can tell you that just across the Wyoming line is Vidavoo and a mountain bike trail called Happy Jack. A Happy Jack goes from Vidavoo down the mountain into Laramie, and it's like riding a roller coaster through a tunnel in the trees on dirt on a mountain bike, and it just goes on and on. We would get people in Moab, people that wanted to ride the whole enchilada, or people in Mammoth that wanted to do like Gandhi rides from the top. And there's this belief that, well, you're just going downhill, so anybody can do it. And my response would be, I mean, how many fat mountain bikers do you see at a downhill competition? You're still standing on a jackhammer for 20 minutes. And there are times when it's almost easier to go fast, because if you're riding the brakes, and everything is disc brake now, but if you're riding the brakes, you will boil your brake fluid, right? Like you got to let go of the brakes. You got to go fast, but the faster you go, the harder it is to hold on to. And it really, it beats you up in a way that I don't think people are expecting. And it's also unbelievably difficult. And if you make a bad choice, descending a mountain on a bicycle at 30 or 40 miles an hour, forget about 60 or 70. That's for the pros. You're just going 30 or 40, and you can get very hurt very quickly. Yep, Train Sim World 2 is a different franchise. It runs on Unreal. It's made by the same developer, but it runs on Unreal. And Train Simulator 2020 it was released in 2013, I think, but then it's based on a game. Oh, rails, maybe? I don't know. It's based on a very old game from like 2009 or something. So the Train Simulator franchise has all the DLC and all the working features, and then Train Sim World 2 is the new one. Looks better, doesn't have nearly as many features. Same dev, but two different franchises. All right. Grand Lake. When I think of Grand Lake, I always think of Granby, and I kind of, it didn't have a very happy ending, but the bulldozer rampage from a few years back. Let's get slowed down here. There we go. Yep, guy decided he'd had enough, couldn't take it anymore, so he hung plates all over a bulldozer and had a very eventful afternoon. Estes Park, Trail Ridge Road. So, if you know The Shining, right? Stephen King wrote The Shining in Boulder, and the inspiration for it, so if you're in Boulder and you go up Boulder Canyon, you come out in Estes Park. So the inspiration for the Overlook was the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park. Big old Victorian hotel. Broke your screen. What? Hang on. Let's check the map here. This is the... This is how it routed us. I'm guessing... This is Trail Ridge Road. Yeah, I think it is. Okay. Well, I mean, there's no other way to go. We could go back down around this way. Now we're going. Yeah, I think that's where the Arosa line goes. Maybe? I mean, if you look at the DLC, it'll tell you on there. No, it's more famous than that. I know, but I can't really turn around here either. It's going to give us a fine, but I say we go for it. This is Trail Ridge Road, so I would say this is worth it. Same thing happens if you try to drive through Yosemite. I'll take the fine, just so we can see Trail Ridge. I worked with a guy that used to drive this road at night, like 80 miles an hour in a Civic Si, boy racer. And the thing about that is, it's a little bit like driving the Pikes Peak Road. It's twisty and it's fun, but if you make a mistake, you got big problems. You're going for a ride, man. They'll find you in the spring. What was I reminiscing about? What was I talking about? Something, Train Simulator, something. I don't remember. Happy Jack, something. All right. Yeah, this is unbelievable. This Stanley Hotel, that's what I was talking about. There we go. There's my fine. Let's get slowed down here. Let's just calm down. So the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park is the inspiration for the Overlook Hotel in The Shining. The first time I went to Estes Park, when I saw the Overlook Hotel, it's imposing, it could definitely be a place that's haunted. But my first thought was, why doesn't Shelley Duvall just run down to the Chevron station at the foot of the driveway? So that was filmed on the one they used in the original movie, the Stanley Kubrick movie. That's on Mount Hood, I think. But yep, Estes Park. I had motorcycle loops that I would ride when I lived in Denver. And my big loop was about 500 miles, which sounds ridiculous, but if you're going to ride, I don't know, 100 miles, that's 2 or 3 hours. You ride a couple hundred miles on Saturday morning, you stop and have lunch, you ride a couple hundred more miles, find a hotel. Sunday morning, you ride a couple hundred miles, you have lunch, and then you ride home, and there's 500 miles. So it's not as bad as it sounds. I mean, I knew people Like I was I was a motorcycle enthusiast. I rode like 15,000 miles a year, which is a tremendous amount of miles to ride on a motorcycle. But I knew people that they had a big loop. Their big loop was like 4,000 miles. I knew a guy whose big loop was he would ride from Denver to San Diego to Seattle and then back to Denver. That's a big loop. I mean, it's obviously that's like a week, but people that like motorcycles really like motorcycles. But my loop, I would ride from Denver to Golden. I would ride up Golden Gate Canyon and up and around to Estes Park and then down Boulder Canyon to Boulder and then come down the freeway back to Denver in the evening. And that's some kind of scenery, man. When you're on two wheels, it is. Yep, Colorado is the best place that I've ever been. So here we go, Continental Divide. And you can sleep up here. That's fantastic. All right, well, we didn't get the River Road, but we did get Trail Ridge. And I'm guessing the other two will be Eisenhower Pass on the interstate and then Independence Pass. Unless we already came over Independence Pass. Yeah, I mean, I guess we did. We didn't go through Aspen proper. Yeah, Estes Park is... I've spent a lot of time in Estes Park. And it's a total tourist trap. But it's a lot of fun. There's a hat store there. I know it sounds ridiculous. There's a little, it's not really a canal, but there's like a little, I don't know, it's like a little canal through town. Very picturesque, very scenic. And on the canal, there is a hat store. And I used to go in there, typically after dinner, after I had a couple cocktails, as one does. I would go in the hat store and just try on hats. I mean, I wear a baseball cap. I never thought about getting like a proper Stetson, but I mean, if you want $1,000 hat, I know where you can get one. This is amazing. Unbelievable. I mean, you have to go through Estes Park because it's at the other end of Trail Ridge Road. Now, is that the new Shining or the old Shining? Because there's been, what? There's been three now. There's the original one with Jack Nicholson. Stanley Kubrick directed that one. There's like a whole mythology about that. Don't get me started. And then there was a TV one in, I want to say, the 90s. I don't know anything about that one. And then they just did one with Ewan McGregor. What's extra? So extra? Wait, we talking about The Shining or DLC? This is beautiful, by the way. This is very much accurate and just really, really, I can't believe how well done this is. Well, you know, you got a long trip. You got to talk about something. I wish this game had a hitchhiker feature. Oh, is that somebody paragliding out there? Yep. Sure is. And I will reminisce about anything. That's the problem with having a really, really good memory. It's like everything. Oh, God. I know that exact rock. Like that specific rock. Oh, the hat store. Yeah, man. I mean, these are all the, I don't know. This is all the minutia that makes up Big B. I don't know what your I don't know if you've done the deep dive on The Shining, the original Shining. But first off, I love the movie. I'm a big Stanley Kubrick fan, and I love that movie. But then there's a deep dive on The Shining about the symbolism, and Stephen King, they've made a movie of like every Stephen King book. They've made dozens, maybe hundreds of movies of Stephen King books, and he loves them. They're all so terrible. He loves them. Maximum Overdrive, really? He loves them. But he doesn't like that one. Arguably the best movie that's ever been made from one of his books. Although, Pet Sematary, ooh, oh. First I played with Judd, and then I played with Mommy, and now I'm going to play with you. Ooh, I don't like it. But he didn't like that movie. I think it's a masterpiece. I really do. I just like the movie in general. But then you do the deep dive, right? And you learn things about that movie, and it is so next level. It's unbelievable. Stanley Kubrick was, it's like he was a method director on that movie. He wanted the people that were acting in his movie to give the impression that they were going crazy, so he went ahead and drove them crazy. Like he just he just about put Shelley Duvall in the hospital, and I think she retired from acting after that. Like how next level is that? You make somebody quit acting. Yeah. So there, I think it's called Room 297, Room 237. Oh, there's a documentary about The Shining that breaks some of it down. This is not 100% accurate because we're already in the Big Thompson, and this is not. I mean, we didn't go through Estes Park and we didn't make the turn, so this is not 100% true to life, but it'll do. There is a lake. I believe it's the Barker Reservoir. Yeah, there's a lake at the top of. No, I'm sorry. Barker Reservoir is in Nederland. Nederland is at the top of Boulder Canyon. Nederland, home of anybody? What is Nederland known for? I'll give you a minute to figure it out. But the Big Thompson Canyon, there was a terrible flood here years back. Dam broke. Water went down the canyon, killed a bunch of people. Not cool. Only one Shining? Which one is that? Cheese fondue store. All right, I like the sound of this. You don't like fondue? Okay. It tastes like alcohol mixed with cheese because it is alcohol mixed with cheese. I don't know what lunatic came up with that. I don't know what lunatic was like, you know what, man? I got some cognac. I've got some cheese here. I've got some sterno. Hang on now. What if? Now hear me out. What if we put the cheese and the cognac in a pot and put the pot on the sterno? Huh? Although I do really like fondue. And we're still waiting. What is Nederland famous for? And also, which one is the real Shining? I would say that the original, Stanley Kubrick, is the original and only Shining for me. Here we go. Look at this guy. K-Line. Okay. All right. Seriously? What is happening right now? Yeah, there needs to be what? All right, it's all kicking off. You just stop. All right. All right, this is my idea for the stream at some point. We need to bring somebody else into the stream because, I mean, it's getting better now because the audience is growing. But for a while, I was streaming to myself. There's a very fine line between streaming and just playing a video game and talking to yourself. And I was doing, you know what I'm saying? Too much of the latter. But I guess when I say bring in a hitchhiker, we just need to get somebody else on voice. And I think we could do that through Discord. Because what do you do when you're taking a long car trip? Right? You just talk about shit. You know? You just, what else are you going to do? You're going to drive, I don't know, cross country? Here we go. When I moved to Fort Collins, I lived on Remington Street down near Old Town. And that was where I discovered microbrew. I lived, probably 2 blocks from Coopersmith's, and also New Belgium is in that same plaza. So we didn't see it, or at least I didn't see it, but down toward the bottom of the Big Thompson, there are some touristy little food stores. There's the Snack Shack and the Love and Oven. And I think it's a different family trying to compete, because there's also the Nut Hut and the Bread Shed. So there's like this whole theme, this whole theme of rhyming tourist food stores. Oh, and there's also a guy always in the Big Thompson selling buffalo jerky that is well worth it. I would get like 3 or 4 pounds of it because, I mean, it's jerky. It's not going to go bad, but very, very good. Right on. Yeah, we can figure that out. I think the Discord voice channel is the way to do it, because I think with OBS I can make Discord one of my inputs, maybe. All right, so there's CSU. So Remington would be right over there somewhere, and then to the right. And then Old Town, I guess, would be kind of behind us, more or less. Yeah. All right, Nederland, Colorado is famous for the frozen dead guy. And I think my voice has about, probably this next stop. I don't know if you heard it there, but it's about to let go. Nederland is famous for the frozen dead guy and the Frozen Dead Guy Festival. So this is Laurel. So that would put us on, hang on, let me find a street sign here. Oh, track IR isn't cooperating. Yep. So I think that's about right. Laurel, trying to get my bearings here. Yeah, Remington would be that way, and then to the left. Or parallel. Remington runs parallel to College, but I lived over that way and to the left. So the 2 restaurants that I can recommend, if they're still around, the 2 restaurants in Fort Collins that I would recommend. One is Big City Burrito. They will make you a burrito approximately the size of a rugby ball. And then the other is Avogadro's Number. Both fantastic. Big City Burrito, if the owners were there, it was always hippies working there. If the owners were there, they would just roll like massive burritos, like according to spec. But if the owners weren't there, you could like, karma, and they would make you a super burrito. It's a college town, right? So get a burrito that big, cut it into thirds, and live on it for like a couple of days. Karma, brah. There you go. There's your 4-pound burrito. Man, what are the odds that the owners of Big City Burrito could somehow see this stream and be like, God damn it. That's why we're losing so much money. Giant cone burrito. I've never heard of such a thing. What is that? I mean, I can visualize it just from the words. I can use my words, a giant cone burrito, but what I'm picturing is like, it's like something from a terrible, wonderful place. All right, here we go. Because if that's a franchise, if that's a place that I can go to. Now these are made for you, and then you give money for them, or is this something I have to make myself?
Go straight on.
Because let me tell you my rap proficiency. Let me tell you how bad I am with a tortilla. I eat bowls. That's how bad I am. My girl can roll. It's the skill set, man. I swear it is. My girl can roll these perfect. They're smooth and even, and oh no, I got I gotta go bowl. I cannot roll a burrito to save my life. I can barely make a taco, and that's not even rolling. That's just like folding it in half. I got some kind of a, you know what I'm saying? I got some kind of a block somewhere. I got some kind of a deficiency. I can't, I'm just no good with wraps. And it extends out. It's not just, I was talking about burritos. Wait, what just happened? I mean, I know the two go together, but I was specifically talking about just a burrito. There was no drug reference. It's an actual burrito. It's the Cashlaputa River, which is the strangest name for a river that I've ever heard. And there's various translations of it, but because the water brings down a lot of sediment from the mountains, it's very, the water can be very milky. So the, what were those people called? The voyageurs, the trappers, referred to it as the Cashlaputa. Yeah, see, I have problems with moderation. You may have picked up on that. I have problems with moderation, so I tend to, it's always just a little bit too much. So, yeah, I know. I know my limitations. That's why I go with a bowl. I make a burrito bowl, and I make it like in a mixing bowl. I'm one of those people that spends a lot of time in the gym so I can eat more. It's not that I like working out. I like eating and I like not being fat. I think, all right, I think we're going to make it just about to this drop off, and then we'll pick it up again tomorrow. This has been really, really fun though. This is a good stream. But you know what though? I wonder if I could invent. No, that wouldn't work. Never mind. Disregard. This is perfect. And it's just about getting dark too. Well, I mean, it's dark, but it's fixing to be like nighttime. It's 11 o'clock. So we'll wrap up just before midnight. So here's what I'll do. We'll drop this off. We'll call it. I will drive back into town, get an even smaller trailer, because apparently I can't handle this one, which is odd for me, because I was doing really, really well in many streams. I wasn't hitting anything, and then this stream I've hit like a ton of stuff. We'll swap out for a smaller trailer. We'll refuel, and I'll get some sleep. And tomorrow or Monday or whenever, we'll pick it up again, and we'll grab some more cities in Colorado. But yeah, this has been super cool. I'm really glad we had, let me see, I think we had about 10 people in here. It was the biggest crowd. And that's a good stream for me. The channel's growing. So I really do appreciate all of you. And 10 that's a good turnout. And I'll do some research, because the Wikia will start to populate tonight now that people have been able to spend some time on this. But I'll dip into the Wikia and see what's going on, because I guess we've got special jobs in Colorado, and they are gold mining. Right? Maybe. I don't know what all those little tents are. I guess this is livestock. Are those for like calves? Cows? Right? Oh yeah, that would make sense. We're hauling a tractor to a farm. It's all coming together now. All right. Let's get some windows down here. And we are going right in there. Beautiful.
It was a nice ride.
It was a nice ride, you're right. All right, so we got to swing out there, and then back here. And then this way. Yeah, Rocky Star, well, perfect timing, because my voice is gone. Rocky start, but everything came together. There we go. All right, down to neutral. Not reverse, just neutral. Parking lights on. Set the brake. Engine is off. Let's go third person. Yeah, it's going to be awfully dark. I was hoping we'd be under a street light. We are on time. No damage. Made another 30 grand. 800 XP. Fantastic. There you have it. All right, let's hop back out here. There you go. It just started raining. Perfect timing on everything. There you go. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for checking out the stream. I do appreciate it. Thanks for the upvotes. Looks like we got a couple subs too. I really do appreciate you. You're a great audience. Thank you for making this happen for me. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow.